But the thing is, that now, yes, and now what they're talking about is digital currency, the cashless society.
Yeah.
If that happens, we are screwed. Because all of this, there'll be no money. Nobody's going to put anything on the table.
Right.
And everything is known.
Yes.
And they've all got cell phones. So they know where everyone is.
Speaking of that, did you hear that they scrapped Canada had this arrive out during the pandemic. So when I drove truck across the U.S. border, I had to fill out this thing when I'm going to arrive and all that stuff. Well, they scrapped it
digital now.
Yeah, but they scrapped it.
Yeah.
Because there was so much rebuttal.
Well, that's because people are going to stand up against it.
Yeah.
Now, more information is being revealed all the time about the so-called pandemic. It's not what they said it was. And now they're finding that kids as young as this are dying of heart attack because they've got this growth in their body. Because now we've got a whole new vocabulary. We've got nanotechnology, the nanobots. Remember the old movie where they shrunk the person down into a microscopic thing and put into the body?
Yeah.
They're doing that now. They're not sending miniaturized people in there.
Yeah.
But the nanotechnology is such that it can be activated after you've taken the jab. And now what they want is, if they get cashless society, they can cut you off. They can cut you off anytime, just like that. They cut you off. You've got no money. You're not allowed to buy unless you've got the chip in your hand. This is the thing. The future that they've got is not a happy one for us. Because if it's cashless society and the idea that you don't own anything, so you've got no responsibility, but you've got no power, no say in anything.
Well, you know what they said in Russia before USSR collapsed? The Russians were saying, we pretend to work and they pretend to pay us. And then the USSR collapsed after that. It's the same. Like, as bad as capitalism can be when the companies get so large, like Jeff Bezos and all those other guys, and what he's the guy that bought Facebook, was that Bezos? Not Facebook, I mean Twitter. Yeah.
Elon Musk.
Yeah, Elon Musk. Okay, and you know how he's just cleaning house.
Yeah.
And lots of people are getting fired and let go and so forth. But that's the terrible part of capitalism. But the good part is self-determination. Each individual can decide, and they have drive to make a living or be lazy. But you can't force people to work. And if you don't pay them very much or you cut them off, it's bad for society.
It's not a simple thing. But I'm not sure whether we should talk about this or not. But you've got censorship. We're not like right now. Where are we? What is this? Some little tiny place in a little tiny island, in a little tiny country, and we're afraid that something will go on there. But it's already happening. All of these kids, it's only because they're eating, but how many are on the phone? 1, 2, 3 on the phone.
Well, when I came over here, I have a Microsoft account because I like their Edge web browser.
Yeah.
If I have different devices, I can save, like websites, and it's all on cloud or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
So anyways, I kept getting these messages, suspicious location thing. And so they wanted me to log in and verify it was actually me in the Philippines with a different device. Because I put in a different SIM card.
Yeah.
So that's a form of, where is he?
They know exactly.
Yeah.
A friend of mine she used to write a check for things. She would never use the ATM card. And she would say, look on the receipt. On the receipt, if you had used a credit card or an ATM card, it would have the last four of the number, where you were, what time you bought, what you bought, everything about what you had done for that day. And while I was in California, I remember that periodically I used to get a note, a handwritten note from school, sent home with my kid.
Okay.
And it would say, where were you at 3 o'clock on the 22nd? And I would always put on that note and send it back. What business is it of yours? It's none of your business. And still do it. And they're sending that to our account. Now, it's all digital.
So why were they doing that? You don't know?
No. Well, it's all surveillance.
Yeah.
And now, thank you. And now, in the UK, the UK has got the most, especially London, has got the most cameras looking at the people. Now the thing is, the most innocent, most gullible thing that you can say is, well, I don't have anything to do, I'm not doing anything wrong, and if it helps catch the criminals, great. But you've given up your freedom. And my friend in California, not in California, in Florida, said that he got a note in the post, a fine. It said going through a stoplight, and it had a photo of him in his car where you could see his face and the number plate, the time that it went through, and where he was, the whole thing. And he was totally unaware of anything having happened.
We've had photo radar in Canada for 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
And we think it's just a money grab. Because they'll put a slow, an 80-kilometer zone, where everything goes to 100, at an intersection, and put these cameras there, and they flash you, and if you're speeding, the people, they get a ticket.
Yeah.
So
but eventually, they will take everything. I was in a dentist's office in California once, and a young girl was sitting next to me, and finally she's looking out the door and she sees my truck, and it's parked the wrong way, at the curb, parked the wrong way. And she said to me, "Is that your truck?" And I said, "Yes." She said, if they take that, you may be in real trouble. And then she told me her story, that she had received a parking ticket and clamped, and then the car was picked up and put into a holding area, compound. She went there was nobody there on the Saturday. It was closed Saturday and Sunday. She couldn't go there on Friday because she was working. So Monday, just a Murphy's nightmare, that everything just happened to make it impossible for her to pick the car up. By the time she could get there, 3 or 4 or 5 days later, when it was open, the fine was so great that she couldn't pay it. So she left it there another day, another amount, all the time going. And she said, "I've lost my car. Now my car will be in the auction. I've lost it. I couldn't afford to get it, and now." So these tales of this kind of hardship come from regulation, which fortunately we don't have here.